Hello all, and welcome back to another plus 10 video. Today we're heading for, well, this time we're heading for Magisters Terrace. This is the third one I've done today, so yeah, not to be confused with the old Magisters Terrace. This is not the same Magisters Terrace. This is a completely new dungeon technically, even though it's called the same and takes place in the same place. So yeah, here we are at the dungeon. And I believe I'm the last one there because Magisters dungeon, Magisters I feel like is a bit out of the way from the others. Or maybe all of these guys had the port, I don't know. Yeah, once again we got a Brewmaster tank. I keep realizing every dungeon I do there's a Brewmaster tank. They are the best, they are the current meta tank I suppose. But well, at least we don't have a monk killer this time, so there's a bit of variety. So yeah, here we start. We're pretty quick into it in this dungeon.
The void beckons us onward.
I really like this dungeon, I will say. Especially the second half of it is a lot of fun. First half is a bit meh, but yeah. Here we go into the first trash pack. We got this big arcane construct and we got two casters. The casters will mostly spam arcane bolt, which is not too bad, but they also cast a polymorph, which can be a bit bad. I didn't really focus any of them here because I wanted to focus the big guy because he can be kind of annoying. He channels a thing on a person and then spawns these void zones on the floor. Lasts over several seconds, so you have to like slowly move as it casts. He does a slow debuff on people, which, well, it's not a slow, it's like a complete stop. You can't move. Yeah, it's a route basically. So you can get out of that with either a dispel or many movement based abilities, as I mentioned in previous videos. So here's a very popular pull. I'm pretty sure pretty much everyone does this. They just move around the corner with the whole hallway and just AoE everything down. Only thing worth in this pack is the casters doing arcane bolts and polymorphs. So now we're in the library. There's a bit of a maze. After we finish this trash pack, there's a bit of a maze down there. Sort of like a stealth section, and if you ever done any one of those quests, it's you have to like avoid them as you move. And there's also a haste buff in here that you can pick up that targets the entire party. Sadly though, the healer got spotted, so I pop a defensive here to stay alive, and Word of Glory myself to also stay alive. Everyone's using a little bit here just to stay alive until the healer can catch back up with us, because this one mob here can be quite deadly. It does AoE to the whole party, gives us like a debuff that ticks for a lot, puts a flame strike on the ground as you saw, and he can also cast a pyroblast. So now we basically have a second one of these constructs. This pull is basically the same as the first pull of the dungeon, so it's nothing too bad. Just hammering it into the construct to do as much damage to him as possible. And after this we'll be in the first boss room. So now we're in the first boss room. There's you have to clear out this room a little bit, or else you're gonna have very low space to move the boss around, because he does some knockbacks and stuff. You have these arcane worms. When you kill them, you get a buff on you. Well, it's listed as a debuff, but it's basically a buff. It increases damage and healing done by you, I believe. So it's a lot of people like to pull them into the boss. You also have one of these fire mobs here, which is dies very fast when you have that buff on you. So yeah. And now we're ready for the boss. Now the tank is gonna go pull the second set of arcane worms while we're dealing with this ad, and pull them into the boss. So when they die, we have a full uptime of the boss, buff on the boss. So we can do maximum damage to the boss and kill him as quickly as possible. So yeah, that's the knockback he does. He also puts arcane puddle on the ground, which will stay there throughout the entire fight. So that's one of those things that makes this fight require a bit of room. Some people will clear the whole room, some people will clear half. Usually with decent DPS you can get away with half the room. So yeah, this is his second phase, which he does a recharge, and he takes extra damage for about 20 seconds. I also have these orbs coming in, which will buff the boss if they hit them, so you need to soak those. And then this is a good time to pop cooldowns and just do as much damage to the boss as you can. So yeah, after that the boss is pretty low, so now we just have to finish him off. Very easy boss.
Proceeding with impairment. Enjoy detainment.
So now we get on to what I think is the most deadly part of this dungeon, which is the trash before the second boss. If you've done this on heroic or normal, you've seen groups that pull this entire hallway, and then usually it's a wipe. You have casters in here, which is the arcane bolt and polymorph type. You have these blood guards, or whatever they're called, that does target someone and puts a dot on them, and it ticks for quite a bit of damage. You can see my HP is just ticking down a lot more than the tanks, both me and the warlock. So yeah, those are very deadly. You also can get two of them on you, so if you do, I would definitely suggest using a cooldown. I should have used one there, but yeah. I do use one there, but it might have been a bit too late, but I still have debuffs on me. Yeah, I did have 2 debuffs on me right there, so it's not a waste of a cooldown, but I could have used it a bit sooner. That's one thing I like about recording these and watching them after, is I notice things I should have done and then I can improve upon. So next time I go there, I know how to look for certain things a lot better. And now we get to the second boss.
I have permission from Lorthamar himself. Liar! None shall lay hands on the Cynosure.
So this guy, he does a few things. He puts out a debuff on 2 people, which is coming out about now. Obviously don't stand on top of each other, it's just pulsing damage while they have it on them. Nothing they can do about it for now. It's basically permanent until this comes up. This is a silence zone. If you stand in it, you get silenced. But you have to stand in it to get rid of the debuff. But you can't do both at the same time, because if you get rid of one, you get a small debuff that increases the amount of damage a second explosion does. Like here we'll get 2, and you see the party took a lot more damage from that. So you wanna usually stagger them a bit, but... And then he does this silence cast. As soon as it finishes, you want to be inside the bubble and then step out right after, so you don't avoid his silence but don't get silenced yourself for too long for being inside of the bubble. And that's basically the fight, just rinse and repeat. Don't stand in stuff and watch the debuffs. Very simple fight, also quite fun.
I am unrelenting.
And this is here I go again talking about old content, but anyone who's done the original Magisters Terrace dungeon, this is where he fought Kael'thas at the end. And you get his famous line, "It was merely a setback." Yeah, now we just channel this. I don't know why the tank wasn't channeling with us, which would have made it go slightly faster, but I guess it didn't matter. And now the second half of the dungeon begins, where it's all void infested. Which is really cool, that you basically have to go one way and then reverse with a whole different set of creatures, which is really cool. So yeah, this first pull here is nothing too big of a deal. There is a mob that casts shadow bolts, but other than that, this is just an AoE fest. Nothing really too dangerous here. Once this pack is done, we go out to the main area and you'll fully see the void invasion, which is really cool when you come out here. Everything is all dark and blue, and yeah. See void portals everywhere and just void creatures everywhere. It's really cool. Yeah, this is where my sort of favorite mobs in the dungeon come in. I don't know why, I just like killing these. The Void Terrace, now they will cast every now and then a fear. There's in this specific pack there's 2 of them, so you need multiple people interrupting, but yeah, as long as you interrupt them, you'll be fine. If the fear goes off, it's a lot of damage on the group and they can stack, so. Then you have these big ones, they will spawn small void creatures to them, and then after a while will consume them to gain HP back, so you want to kill them as fast as possible. Like the small ones as fast as possible, and then the big one. So that's pretty much what the trash is going to be like from now on. The most dangerous creatures are the Void Terrors, and then you have the big ones. So you pretty much it's just a constant AoE fest, and it's just so much fun. I don't know what it is, it's just so satisfying to AoE in the second half of this dungeon. This might actually be my favorite dungeon this expansion so far. We're in the 3rd boss room here, but you know, as per usual, you have to clear the trash in order to spawn the boss, so I'm always trying to focus at least one of the Void Terrors down, so we don't get the fear. I usually use my interrupt first time I see one, and then if I start getting off another one before my interrupt is ready, I'll just stun it, and if that runs out, I'll disorient it. And then usually my interrupt is back. I can do that type of rotation on anything that requires specific interrupts, but yeah, this little circle around me, when that sort of goes away, you get a healing absorb debuff on you. It's not too bad. I usually pop a Word of Glory to help the healers out a bit, especially if a lot of other stuff is going on. So now the boss is spawning. Just this giant jellyfish. So this boss is quite fun. It will every now and then will cast the ability called Triplicate, so he will create 2 clones of himself. He does it twice, I believe. And the reason why this boss is very fun is that when you damage the ads, it will also damage the boss because they have linked HP. So it's basically another AoE fest boss fight. He will put debuffs on people that spawns void zones on the ground after a few seconds once the debuff wears off. Nothing too bad. He will do a cast with all of his ad to pull people in. Obviously right now we only have 3, so only 3 people get pulled. Later we will have the whole party gets pulled in, but yeah, now we got more ads. Now we're up to 5 ads. 5 ads with the boss, so yeah. At this point it's kind of chaos, but that's kind of the fun part of this fight. Another thing he does, he will create a link between a player and one of the mobs, and that player has to run to that mob, or else basically that mob gets an absorb shield, including the boss. The boss also can get an absorb shield, so getting those off as soon as possible is very important. A very chaotic, messy and fun fight, personally I think, so I really like this boss. And now we're heading on to the final trash. And here we go with the hallways again. Yeah, we got 2 more Void Terrace in this pool, so I pick one and just hope someone else focuses the other one. Here we're just, yeah. I apologize for this camera angle, but it's best I could do. Just wait for the last boss. It also has an off camera angle. That Warlock is doing almost 500,000 damage per second. That's insane. Warlocks, man. Can never trust a Warlock. That should be what. This is the last pack with the Void Terrors. And there's 2 here as well, so I target this one, but I think I swapped to the other one once I see an interrupt go off on it. Just to be safe. Now normally this will be the last trash pack, but we come up a bit short on percentage here, but these last 2 are basically just 2 big ones. You want to focus one down while also AoEing the mobs, because yeah, it will be a lot of damage if you don't. I got that healing debuff on me again there, so once both these 2 are dead, we're gonna pull one last trash pack, because as I said, these big ones give 2% each, so we have to pull an additional pack, but it could be a lot worse. But oh yeah, I forgot there's a Void Terror in this. So yeah, this is the last trash pack. Get that done, and we're on to the final boss, which is also a really fun boss. Man, those healing absorbs love me, don't they? Alright, so now we're ready for the final boss.
Champion, I know what to do. I'll need to attune the Cynosure to the Void Storm.
So this boss is called the Gentriest. You kind of want to spread around towards these 4 quadrants of the platform here. Because you get this little beam going towards the middle, which is used to be basically a cross between multiple before, but for some reason they nerfed it. He's gonna spawn these he's gonna spawn these area zones you have to soak, where a ball will basically bounce between the different parts of the platform. And if you don't soak it, there will be giant amount of damage to the whole group. Every person will get a debuff on them that, when expires, will explode in these balls going all the way around. If you get hit by them, it's a slow debuff, so you can just easily remove that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching, and enjoy the rest of this fight.
It is done. We have our way into the Void Storm. Let us inform Lorthamar. And perhaps offer an apology for the near catastrophe.